Welcome to the Old Classic Car channel, and in this short video we're looking at classic Albion lorries, and LWF203 is the first head-on view, and this particular Albion Chieftain dates to March of 1953. There's a nice old Leyland Comet alongside it. Oh dear, NXP 420, this was at a commercial vehicle auction at Malvern back in 2010. I know nothing about this particular vehicle. Did it go on to be restored, or was it used for parts, or is it still sat somewhere awaiting renovation? Somewhat better condition is this Albion Claymore, I think from about 1963. Much more modern is PDA 185F, that's an Albion Super Clydesdale from 1967. The company continued, the Albion name continued until 1972. There's a very bonny little recovery truck seen at a vintage meet, WRA 571. That's an Albion FT27N Claymore recovery truck, in the livery of T. Mellor and Son of Belper in Derbyshire. The first of several PSVs to feature here, NSG 869, that's an Albion Nimbus MR9 prototype registered in December of 1955. If you're a fan of Albions, please pop a note in the comments and say hello. And the first of two stunning Bullock Transport Albions here, KWV 962, that's an HD 57 4-axle tanker from July of 1954. On a similar theme, a Bullock lorry here, FAM 375, that's a CX7 tanker from 1948. The firm was actually bought out by Leyland in 1951, but the Albion name, like I say, continued until 1972. And a J-Reg one here from 1970, GJD 273J, that's a double drive tipper, an Albion Reiver of 1970 or 71. A little beauty here, VMX 646, that's a 1950 Chieftain, so built just the year before Leyland took the firm over. Continuing with these classic Albions, we've got a very bright yellow and red example here, 409YUG. This is a 1947 Albion CX1N flat. There's a much later Leyland alongside. Of course, Leyland would go on to own Albion. Next up, a head-on view of YOA 727, that's a 1959 Chieftain CH3L. The Albion firm was actually founded in 1899 and spent its first few years building cars. The very early Albion here, BF 7455, this is a 1920 Model A16 Charabanc. What a beauty that is. Actually, in 1909, the company switched their focus to lorries from cars. Much later one here though, from 1971, we've got a tipper truck here loaded with gravel. This was seen on the Cheshire Run for classic lorries a few years ago on a very wet day. Somewhat brighter day, this is SSM 110. This is a 1956 Albion Chieftain, drop side bodywork on the back and a couple of diesel engines on display in the back. Now, LJ9501, this is one of my favourites of all. This is an Albion Valiant PV70 half-cab bus or coach, with a dorsal fin on the roof, and this was bodied by Harrington in 1934. Ex-Charlie's Cars, here's a side view. Wonderfully aerodynamic, sleek, stylish design. Absolutely stunning vehicle that is. Like I say, that one's from 1934. The rear three-quarter view of the same vehicle on a different event. This was on the Cheshire Run. Observation Saloon Coach, Charlie's Cars of Bournemouth. Absolute stunner. Back to lorries, and we've got a flatbed here, RJ6071. This is a 1936 KL127 in the livery of A&T Sharratt of Worsley. Great sign writing, as so many of these old lorries have. Same here, great sign writing on VKF 124, that's a Chieftain from 1956. Note the badge on the grille, the Albion oil engine, diesel powered of course, as were most lorries at this time. Same here, JTM 402, this is a May 1951 registered Chieftain, 4 litre diesel engine. in the livery of Barton Brothers. I'm guessing there's living accommodation on the back of this particular one, hidden behind that load cover. And going way back, we've got GA 3542. That's a 1918 lorry, ex-Great War lorry. Chain drive, solid rubber tyres. And worlds away, we've got TAW677J, a Shropshire registered Albion Super Reiver of 1970. I think this was at the Oswestry Showground a couple of years ago, CBO 140. This is a KL 127 of 1939, so a very late pre-war example of the old Albion lorry in the livery of WJ Kappa. Back to PSVs now. JNP 590C, that's a 1965 registered Albion Nimbus. Looking a little worse for wear. This was at Donington Park many years ago at a commercial vehicle auction. We've got ACY 165, that's a Swansea, registration from about 1936. Did it start out life as a Luton bodied van perhaps, but where is it now? Looking somewhat healthier is SH 4747, that's a 1935 ML55 flatbed. This appears on many classic road runs, I say mid-1930s this one. Now, first of two photos of BER 940, a 1936 KL 127 flatbed. This was at another Donington Park auction quite a few years back in the early mid-2000s. It's followed by a much more recent photo of the same vehicle, now liveried in the name of Alan Williams of Martin Grange. BER 940 looking very smart indeed there, again with living accommodation on the back, cunningly disguised as a load. Another oldie now, a BF 4729, that's a 1912 Albion Charabang. Not much in the way of weather protection, but great for a day out, I'm sure. Solid rubber tyres on the back, pneumatic tyres on the front. Another beauty now, Oz 4310, that's a 1951 Albion FT21N. This vehicle has appeared on many Cheshire runs. This was a few years ago though, RBK634J from about 1970 or 71, that's a Chieftain. So the Albion name only continued in production until 1972. Now, first of two photos of DMV 317. This appears to be an articulated chassis with some sort of towing living van on the back. But here it is, slightly more recently, and now it's got a flatbed body, conventional flatbed body on the back, so I'd certainly be interested to read more about this particular lorry. If anyone knows anything, please add a note into the comments, that'd be great. This was at the Gaydon Truck Show quite a few years ago. Next up, ANF 369B, that's another Albion Claymore from 1964. If you're into your classic lorries or vintage lorries, please let me know in the comments if this kind of video is of interest to you or not. And here, CRS 280, this has appeared in the video before on this channel in the livery of R. Tinker Limited of Middleton. That dates to 1947, that particular lorry. Again on the Cheshire run, as so many of these vehicles were, NWE 534, that's a Clydesdale from 1951. Another Claymore here, this one dates to 1961. Still a few classic Albions to come. Next up, there's another one that I don't know a great deal about in the livery of Johnny Walker. I can see the registration begins NAG and a 3, but I can't see the rest, so if you can shed light on this one, that would be great, thank you. Rumbling by here, Triaxle Albion 419CE8, that's a Staffordshire registration. This is a Reiver from 1957, the livery of Robert Coates and Sons of Stoke-on-Trent. Another bright red little lorry here, JPR 472. At first I thought this was a Claymore, but it's actually an Albion Cairn of 1955. Proper oldie here. This is a 1916 Albion A10, ex-First World War, War Department vehicle. Looks like it's been driving through the Somme. There's a rear three-quarter view, the same vehicle. Solid rubber tyres, front and rear. Chain drive, you can just see the chain on the other side there going to the back axle. That must be an interesting vehicle to drive. Slightly more modern, but only just, is CLP 584. That's a B18 Albion, dating to 1936. A little Bobby Dazzler. FFD 332K, dates to about 1971. Cement mixer version. Ready Mixed Concrete Wales Limited. I'm going to try and pronounce the name that follows that. Explosives, DCS 179, that's an Albion Clansman, registered in August of 1950. Rumbling by on the Cheshire Run quite a few years ago. It's the only photo I've got of this one. DPV 199, that's a 1954 Albion Chieftain. This beauty, ODK 281, that's a 1956 Claymore. Stunning cab, wraparound screens, very modern for its era. An FGV 229D, that is another Albion Claymore, this one from 1966. Looks like a recovery vehicle, so it looked quite good with a vintage tractor on the back perhaps. An EXN909, which rounds out this particular collection of Albions, is a Shellmex and BP Limited vehicle. This one is a KL126 from 1938. And yes, that completes this collection of classic and vintage Albion lorries. I hope that was of interest. Please check out some of the other old commercial vehicle videos that are on this channel. There are various ones, photo collections, vehicles actually running, driving, events with classic lorries in them. I'll include a playlist at the end of this video so you can have a look to see what else is on here, and more videos along very, very soon. Bye for now.